Hello Cassiopians and welcome to Digital Casio. Today we are looking at the MWD-100H. Released in 2020 and carrying the 3487 module, it is unique in being an all-digital watch that is split from its predecessors. The MWD series are analog watches that have a digital part. However, for the release of the MWD-100H, the digital part has been removed and instead replaced with its own digital counterpart, the MWD-100H. So this watch comes in 4 variations. This is the stainless steel version, the HD-1AV, and then you have 3 resin band versions, which is the H-1AV, H-2AV, and the H-9AV. All 4 versions of this watch have a stainless steel resin hybrid case. The bezel and the top part of the case have this brushed stainless steel. The bezel has 4 screws attached to this case, whereas the bottom part is a black resin. The crystal is made of mineral glass and the LCD is split up into 5 sections. The small top section is a graphic representation of the seconds that has 10 sections, and just below that to the left is the date. To the right of that has this kind of whirlpool effect, is the 5 alarms indicator, and just below that to the right is a snooze indicator. And then the whole bottom half of the section contains the time. So let's take a look at the right hand side profile, and from here you can clearly see the 2 halves of the watch, and it has 2 stainless steel pushers. You notice that the bezel actually gives it quite a bit of height and is actually polished right around the rim of that. And on the left hand side we also have 2 stainless steel pushers. The bracelet is all stainless steel, and the locking clasp has this special locking mechanism that you have to press these buttons in to unlock it. It is of a tri-fold design and, as usual, has the Casio logo on the buckle. It has a stainless steel back which is held on with 4 screws into the resin part of the case. And you notice that the back is smaller than the case, giving it an odd appearance. Also of note, and appears to be the norm these days, is the water resist is set at 10 bar as opposed to 100 meters, which is on the front. We can do an LCD display test by pressing and holding the 2 left buttons and the bottom right button. So on the first test we get these kind of 8s and P's. We press the left button and we get this number, these 2 numbers I should say. Then we get the full display, and then this kind of weird looking display, and then went back to normal. So I'm not really sure what the purpose of these tests are or what they prove, but it's a pretty cool feature. So let's check out the backlight. It says it's an illuminator, so in a darkened room. Let's have a look. Okay, so the illuminator is not an electroluminescence, but instead 2 LEDs at the bottom of the watch, but it still does an excellent job of lighting up the entire display. So we'll start by adjusting the date and time by using the top left adjust button. The seconds start to flash and we'll press the bottom right to reset to 0. We press this mode button to go to the hours, and we'll press the bottom right again to adjust the hours. Mode again, and then for the minutes we'll set this to 3:30. It should be noted that holding this button does make it go faster. So next up is the year. It starts off in the year 2000, and let's see how far this goes. So it goes all the way up to 2099. So if you're watching this video in 2099, then it might be time to change out your 80-year-old watch. And besides, this is probably an antique by now. Okay, so we'll set it to 2020 and then go on to the month and then the date. We'll set this to June 15th. And once you're done, press the adjust button to lock that in place. Please note there is no daylight savings time function. However, there is this 12 and 24 hour toggle at the bottom right in normal timekeeping mode. So the first mode is the alarms, and we can press and hold the bottom right to test the alarm. So this watch has 5 alarms and an hourly signal, and you can scroll through using the bottom right button. So with alarm 1 selected, we press the adjust button, and the number 1 in that whirlpool icon appears. Press it again and it becomes a snooze alarm. Press it again to turn it off. To set an alarm, press and hold the top left adjust button, and then we can use the combination of the mode and the bottom right buttons to set the time. So we'll set this watch alarm to go off for 3:34. Press the mode again, and then the month starts flashing. So you can actually have this as a one-off alarm or a date specific alarm. So we'll set this to today, which is 6:15. So with that complete, we'll press the adjust to lock that in place. So let's return to timekeeping mode and wait for the alarm. So it has a 10-second 2-beep alarm, and it's interesting that it has a short beep followed by a long beep. Next mode is the countdown timer. If we press the start button right away on 0, you'll see it's a typical 24-hour timer. So we'll stop that and reset. Now press and hold the adjust button to put in a time. So we'll go straight to the minutes and put in 1 minute. So press the light button on the top right, and that sets the auto repeat function. So we press the adjust and we can start the timer by pressing the start stop. And you'll notice that the graphic in the top actually represents the seconds which are counting down. So this has a 10-second 4-beep alarm. So let's stop the timer and reset using the adjust. So we move on to the next mode, which is the stopwatch. So we'll start the stopwatch by pressing the bottom right, and you'll notice that the display at the top is going along with the tenths of seconds. Press the split time in the top left using the adjust button, release that again. So let's put it on, and we can do a split time by pressing the stop. The graphic display stops, press the adjust, and we can see the 2 times. Press it again to reset. So move on to the final function, which is the dual time. So this is just like setting the time but without the seconds. So we press the adjust, and then we can just put in a time using a combination of the bottom left and bottom right buttons. So we'll set this to 9:37 and lock that in place by pressing the adjust. So that completes the functions of the MWD-100H. So as you can see, this is a very functional watch. So let's take a look at this on the wrist. So as you can see, I have a 7-inch wrist, and this watch is just a tad bit big, even the height, but it still looks really nice. The stainless steel band is beautiful and does not pull on the hairs of my wrist either. But I have to say, it's a beautiful timepiece, and this is a keeper for sure. So being mostly stainless steel, the weight is probably a little bit more than I'm comfortable with at 103 grams. So I will rate this watch a functionality of 7, practicality of 8, quality of 8, rarity of 4, and a collectability of 7. This gives a total score of 6.8 out of 10. So this is an odd move from Casio, because the previous MWA series watches are beautiful timepieces and in my opinion didn't need to be altered. Having said that, being a fan of digital watches, the MWD-100 is a gorgeous all-digital conversion. Personally, I think that the watch is just a tad larger than I'm used to, although it is not G-Shock size. The watch has been designed with care and the buttons and functions are intuitive. I think animating the cool alarm display would have been a nice touch. For its build quality and functions, the MWD-100H is fantastic value for money at around $50 new, and I believe this will be a very popular model. I look forward to later watches in the MWD series. So what are your impressions of the MWD-100H? Do you think Casio made a bad move splitting the MWA series? Leave a comment below. Also, if you're considering buying this watch, then I would appreciate clicking the affiliate links below. It won't cost you anything, but will help my channel grow. If you like this video, please show your support by clicking the thumbs up and also consider subscribing and even sharing. Thanks for watching. I'll leave you with the specs, and until next time, ta-ra.